Hey. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Chris and Cassie. SONday Chronicles, episode 42. We're going to be talking about imposing agendas of this world, a little bit about intuition, awareness, and a bunch of other things. So we've entitled this one, what do we call this one? Imposing agendas?
Imposed agendas.
I don't remember what we called it.
Imposed agendas.
Just go with that.
No, because it, and then standing your ground.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
that was the
episode
main
42, imposing agendas and standing your ground. Thank you.
So yeah, from the standpoint not necessarily of the specific agendas that are imposing agendas, but more importantly, standing your ground. We talk about the shift a lot and how it's here, and that slowly but surely these specific agendas that were forced. And if you look around, everything is an agenda. And I'm going to skip.
So every individual has an agenda, even us, for example? Yeah, every single person has an agenda.
Yeah, everyone
purpose,
has
right?
a plan or a purpose, but a forced agenda, an imposed agenda, something that you have to follow.
You mean imposing that on others is what you're saying?
Yeah, imposing that on others. And I think my question that I've always had, even as a little kid, is like, why do people that are a part of these groups feel so goddamn necessary to throw it in your face and want you to be a part of their group, a part of their agenda? And they're not even the inventor of the agenda. It's just kind of...
Well, when you're saying these agendas, what comes to my mind is just certain belief systems, right?
Yeah, I mean, it always goes back to the religion and politics.
Well, and also to what keeps you or what starts you seeking externally, I think.
Yeah, and intuition. We talk about intuition.
What is that? You said. What was the question? I mean, do you have an answer to your question?
No, I will. We're going to try to answer that question throughout the whole thing. So it's like, and if anyone is watching this and they say, okay, why I've had that same question. Why do people want me to be a part of their belief system or this agenda that they've joined? And I mean, honestly, I think the quick answer to it is they want reassurance. They want validation for choosing an external something that...
Well, I think people are so scared to be alone. So I think that's part of it too.
Yeah.
People are so afraid to face themselves that even having a belief system that doesn't seem to match anyone else's is scary, because then you're by yourself. You're a loner, or you're looked at. People care what people think.
Yeah, and another thing with forced agendas is that it's complete separation. They want you separate. Notice the preaching or the teaching or the doctrine or the gospel involved wants you separate from anyone else different. And this,
it's never about unity, or
no.
It's rare to be about unity.
And it's never about being yourself or thinking for yourself. They don't want you in these imposed doctrines to think for yourself. So no one does. And you notice how this particular talk ties in manipulation, control, separation. We talk about in our understanding racism.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll fits right in there somewhere. Everything, this 42 show is a culmination of all of the things that we've talked about.
Most of our shows kind of just build on each other, though.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what's happening.
But so in imposed, that word is just, I've been mulling this topic over for about 3 days, and I think about the word imposed, and it means to force.
Well, I think, for some reason when you say that, I think of the indoctrination as you're growing up, and you have to go to this school, you have to learn this type of way, you have to get a 9-to-5 job after you go to college, you have to be into a big sports team, just different things like that. You're being imposed
Yeah.
belief systems, and
Yeah.
I think a little bit of that naturally happens because of your environment, but there's a difference between observation and guiding versus kind of forcing,
Instructing, imposing, yeah.
I think, but I don't know where I was going with that,
But yeah, and what it does most importantly is it pulls you away from your intuition when you stop thinking for yourself.
it's one of those things I think we've all experienced. And at first, right when you said that, I'm like, there's no way that was me. But no, I mean, look, again, always observe yourself. So instantly you saying that, I started to observe myself in the past. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you don't, without even knowing it, I don't think you're thinking for yourself.
Yeah.
You might think you are because of manipulation.
It's kind of like a group consciousness.
I saw a post from someone, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on who it was, but it was a religious, a belief system, I think Scientology, not that that matters, but, and it said, come here to think for yourself, was their slogan. And I just found that really interesting.
Really?
Yeah, so, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, I often wonder if certain things...
Come here to think for yourself.
Well, that really is what people believe that they're doing, or, you know, when you're part of a belief system, I don't have any problem with religion of any kind or anything. I think it is a tool when followed proper.
Yeah, my thing with a forced doctrine is that it pulls you away from going within.
Well, I guess I know, and it's not all doctrines are like that, I feel like.
No, I'm saying forced, imposed doctrines. There are doctrines.
Like this is the only way.
Right.
Okay. I gotcha.
And we live in that world. We live in that imposed. And that imposed doctrine, they tell you have freedom. No, you don't.
Well, that's just the whole system, the matrix, however you want to look at it.
So the material world
leads you to believe, leads you to believe that you're free, when freedom being that you have money and all these things, when really freedom is your mind. Freedom is being free from the system.
Freedom to me is inner peace.
Well,
it goes back to our define success. Success to me is inner peace
and that's
as well.
Freedom, but it's a different type of freedom than the system makes it seem.
Yeah.
You know?
And how sneaky is it that the system people that are a part of it won't tell you that they are forced into it?
Well, it's...
How beautiful is that? I mean, think about, and I'm looking at it from the other side. Someone came up with this idea.
I know.
Someone came up with the idea, create separation, manipulate them and control them, and make them think that they need you.
It's all for the material world.
And they think that they need you, and they'll stay in the system forever. Thousands of years it's occurred. Yeah. And impose these. The reason
go to school from 8 to 5, so you get a job 8 to 5 immediately, and just join the system.
Yeah, help fuel the system.
The Bee movie, you know, the cartoon The Bee movie, is a great example of that.
BEE movie.
Yeah. Where Jerry Seinfeld's the bee.
Yeah, that's a really.
But it's actually a really good example of that. You're forced into this. You'll work here till you die. It's part of the system. You know.
And that was an imposed doctrine on bees, and he didn't want to do that.
No, he was like, I don't want to be this. I don't want to, you know.
Yeah.
He ventured out.
He was a rebel, and he followed his intuition.
Yes.
Maybe all bees aren't supposed to be that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he had a specific purpose. Did he follow his purpose? Mm-hmm. Or we don't want to give the end of the movie. So, and these imposed doctrines from what I see, every single one of them is seek externally
for happiness.
Happiness and joy.
It's material.
And continue to seek and seek and seek and hit your head against the wall and hit it against the wall. But never think for yourself, and never go inward.
And again, this is from personal experience, and I think we've even talked about, Chris, you mentioned, it's like you've gone to certain people and asked questions, and you were told to leave.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, again, based on our personal observations.
I was a young man.
Like
I'll just say it. I went to go speak to a pastor at a very well-known church in this area, and my questions didn't jive with his way of thinking,
his agenda,
and I was turned away. And it's like, well, what do you mean? I have some questions, and they weren't able to be answered, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I saw what I saw. You're trying to impose this doctrine on me, and you don't want to answer my questions. I'm going to start answering my own. And
that's why, to me,
yeah,
all these belief systems, as much as certain belief systems separate people, it seems to me very necessary, because it wakes people up.
Yeah, I mean, we always say...
You're like, I'm going to turn to myself because my questions aren't being answered, so you have to be grateful for it.
Well, not everybody has questions, or not everybody has that courage to ask these questions, and that's the reason I wanted to talk about...
The questions come from looking at yourself, though, and looking within. Something
well,
isn't jiving.
Yeah, knowing that, you know the truth by the way it feels. Yeah. And it goes back to, why do people want you so badly to join their imposed...
agenda, what their belief system is.
So they're imposing it now on you.
I think people are scared to be individuals and be alone.
It goes impose, and that's how it's built. People have been imposed upon.
But see, are people really forced, though? Because everyone has free will. It's an individual decision to go with it.
I think that's two different things. I'm going to try to answer it.
Okay.
Because they have free will, they had the right to say no.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So are they really, is anyone ever really forced when it comes to the belief systems? No. You can be manipulated, I think.
Well, I think as a young person, you're seeking, well, this is what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to ask any questions. They got a lot of money, they got a nice house, they got cars. They seem to pretend like they're happy. So why can't I do that? And it's just real life.
Yeah, you think of just growing up, you feel like you have to do these things because your family's done them.
Obligation.
Maybe. Yeah.
And it goes into obligation. Yeah. And
so until you have things happen in your life, or things are presented to you, are all kind of like wake-up calls to look at yourself and find your truth, I think. And all of a sudden it happens, and it wakes you up enough that you start to seek inward instead of outward.
And I think fear is a big part of it. A lot of these forced systems will scare the shit out of you to make you join them.
Yeah, I just saw a billboard that said, if you die today, heaven or hell, call 855-4-TRUTH.
What was that number? That's at 1-800-555-TRUTH.
No, it's 855-4-TRUTH. But there's some interesting articles about it online, looking it up.
Yeah.
But people just say, what are these? But these fear, hey, you're going to die today. Where are you going?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's just, again, fear-mongering on every level, scaring you to join.
Imposed agendas, fear tactics. You're seeing it in the government today. And the reason...
It's everywhere, though. You think of that combination of things, it's in everything.
It's the world's unknowing,
it's like fueling the system. It fuels the system.
You know what I find the most fascinating of the whole thing? They have no idea that they have no clue,
and that's where compassion comes in.
And what's going to happen? The reason I wanted to have this talk is that during this shift, we're all a part of it right now. You're going to see big heads of these forced agendas to start to fall away. You've already seen a lot of it. And it's going to continue to fall away and continue to fall away.
And observe it.
Yeah.
I feel.
And awareness of this occurring. Once it occurs, like I said last episode about I'm not necessarily concerned with these heads of their time and everything that's coming with their forcing upon their agendas they're going to have to meet that. But when they do go away, there are millions and millions of people that are attached to these forced agendas. And what's going to have to be more important than anything across the board is a call for unity. And, you know, there's not, I think that a lot of people, you know,
it's happening that way for an ultimate decision to be made, I think.
Yeah.
Unity, or is it going to be against everything? And it can't. It has been against everyone, against each other. So that time's ending. It's out of the dark ages into the golden age, and the golden age is unity. The age of Aquarius, all of those things.
Oneness, and you're gonna. It'll happen slowly, but if you step back and observe it, it's actually happening really quick.
And it's just fascinating how everything is piecing perfectly, not only in, I think, people's personal lives, but on a global scale. It's just like...
There are so many specific people in place, and even in the government. There are some cats in Senator Cory Booker. I saw him the other day unload as peacefully as he could on this particular person that was a part of the Trump administration.
Well, it comes down to what you said. People have been strategically placed all around the world to lead their calling and their purpose. It can be anywhere from, some people are just Mother Earth focused. It's beautiful. And all of these are beautiful. Some people are unity focused. Which, I mean, I think underlying underlying everything is unity, but some more heavily focused on it. Some of environment, children, rights, animal rights. It's like everyone has these strong,
beautiful pieces.
If you really step back and
some were incarnated to bulldoze down the existing chaos. And
some are there to heal.
Yeah.
Others are in specific places to do that.
And healing, and you'll see all these beautiful people all over the United States and all over the world who know their purpose, they're on it, and they're building it, and it's beautiful. And it's like one big team spread out strategically around the world. And that time, you know, I've watched myself, everybody just, you know, evolve like a motherfucker over this last year. And I think what's going to now have to is to look outward, to look to people who are attached to the system that are going to be hurting, that are going to be kind of confused, that are going to be...
And it's not a... Let's say if you've had these
not a,
feelings,
I told you so.
Exactly. As I say, it's not meant to be that, as we've said this before, as hard as it might be when you see certain people crumble, whether it be on a global scale or in your personal life, your job is, or I feel that is more appropriate to heal. That's what we're here for. You know, it's... But to go along with that, I think it's important to say this evolving and growth that everyone's doing, and I know I've done personally, and I'm sure you have.
Mm-hmm.
I totally lost my train of thought. Shoot. Where was I going with that? Was the next topic? Oh no.
You're fired.
Okay. I'll pack my bags in my desk today. No,
you look really pretty today. Yeah.
And I have my hair down for once. Anyways, no, my gosh. Working together.
Oneness. I think where we were headed there was the oneness, the call for unity. You know, it's important not to say, haha, fuck you. That's not the time. That just would carry the snowball forward. I think everything, you know, there are a lot of people out there who have no clue that they have no clue. And the moment they start letting go of these things, they can step back and start to observe, you know, those that have bulldozed down the
Oh, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
It's not always... I think that kind of goes along with... Even in spirituality,
mm-hmm.
there is a lot of labels given that people give themselves and others in that. Like, there's levels of spirituality, you know, and things like that.
What do you mean? There's not levels?
And maybe in a sense there.
I have a joke, and it, you know, I want to label them spiritually conservative. You know, it's a joke.
So you're being a spiritual conservative
Yeah.
by labeling.
Yes.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
No, but this whole journey, and I think people are experiencing, is not all. I've said it before from a friend saying this. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. It's this growth and evolving that's happening, and this shift is dark, and I think we see a lot of times the easy road to be spiritual, and it's all light and love, and it's not. And I think we wanted to talk a little bit about
standing your ground. And
Yeah.
I have no problem with agendas. I could care less about your agenda until it's imposed upon me. And I'm just as a warning, if you're throwing or you're trying to impose your agenda on me, I will dismantle it. I'm sorry, but I'm in a very kind way. There are people out there that will dismantle your agenda. So look alive. And again, my question is, why don't people practice privately?
Oh, yeah.
My agenda is private. No one will ever. You know my personal connection. There's no way I'm going to share my personal connection with the world. I don't need to.
It's meant to be private. You can read back in ancient texts, and it's meant to be private. I think there is a beauty, though, when everyone comes together and
Sure.
in a meditation and things like that. Global meditations are very powerful, but I think your personal connection and your true inner spirituality is private, like you said. It's different for everyone, I think, and that's why people have their own truth.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
And you don't need to share or impose. I don't need to impose or share my truth with you.
Yeah.
It's okay to be open and discuss it, but you're also not obligated to discuss it with anyone.
Yeah, no, that's what we do with this show. We're not, we walk right down the middle.
That's why, like, when you meet new people, I experience this just because I meet a lot of new people every day or every week at my job. I'll just say it. And a lot of people, it's like, they want to know what religion you are. And it's strange to me. Yeah.
Do I like you or not? What religion are you?
It's just interesting, and so I think that's okay. Yeah. People just are. You are looking. I think people do that. They're looking for a way to connect. They want to be join groups.
Yeah.
It's that again, not being able to stand alone and stand your ground in your belief system or your truth.
No, that's a weird thing though. If it's so powerful, then why you need me? Yeah. I'm gonna do my private thing, and I'm gonna be okay.
And that's where I think the root of all religion comes down to love your neighbor. If you look, every religious text across the board, everywhere, in the same type of way says love your neighbor like yourself.
Yeah.
And just doing that, you have your own truth. I feel like I feel that people have their own truth. They find it.
Yep.
And that's personal and private, and really what unites us all is knowing that we have the freedom to find our own truth. And then we have the ability to work together and support each other in that, Yeah. And not impose. It doesn't matter, because if love thy neighbor truly is at the root of everything, and love is, that's all it is. It's just a sharing of love and creativity.
Respect.
And respect.
Yeah.
And
respect for your private.
It seems so simple.
Connection. Yeah.
It seems so simple, but it
does seem so simple, but it's so far away from where it is.
And it's a long trip to get there to feel only love, I think. Yeah. It's dark, like we said. Yeah,
and again, standing your ground, I think I hate to call it the spiritual side, but the single connection, your personal private connection, people that are heavily indoctrinated into those agendas, those forced agendas, are they find you offensive. It's offensive to think for yourself. What do you mean you don't understand my doctrine? What religion are you? If someone wants to know that right out of the gate, there's no reason for us to have a further conversation.
There's such a good scene I just thought of the other day from The Office about that with Michael Scott, but
go for it.
It's too hard to explain.
Reenact it. Go.
Those who watch The Office, he's going around asking what religion everyone is, And one guy, an IT guy comes in, he goes, well, if you must know, I'm Sikh, I'm a painter, I'm this, that, and he just named this whole thing. Anyway, it's just all about labels, but
Yeah.
I guess you had to see it. But those who have seen it, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's, do we cover everything you wanted to talk about? Or like questions you had?
Lastly, I mean...
Do we touch really on intuition though? How it's really...
Yeah, it just,
No, it's a manual that we all get. You didn't say that. I really liked that.
No, I like to say that we all come with an instruction manual. And it's because
it's called intuition.
Yeah, we call it intuition, and a forced doctrine will tell you to go the opposite way.
This book will give you all the answers.
No, it's the head dogs, the guys and gals that are preaching or teaching this doctrine.
I'm saying
they have all the answers, and
or they do say open the Bible, for example, to have all the answers, but it's misleading.
It's their interpretation of that.
I know, but I'm saying if someone tells you, for example, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if someone tells you to go read your Bible, you'll find all the answers, for example. That's also very misleading because truly you're going to find the answers in yourself as well.
Sure.
It may open your eyes and lead you somewhere, but the answers are always here, you know?
Yeah. And
so it's misleading. So it's
that
part
goes
of
into the spiritual conservative side too.
Confusion I think that people go through, but I think that is very necessary to lead you to look within and think for yourself. Like it has to be there. The
agendas that speak about going within and intuition are not forced. Think about that for a minute.
That's very true.
All of the agendas out there that
telling you what to do,
and they're imposing on you they're forced.
Versus this is what I've experienced in my life, and this is what and a different lens to look at the world. I think when you have a guru, for example, they don't really tell you, they guide. They force you to answer your own questions. They leave open-ended questions, right? For you to...
I don't know about the guru thing.
No, I'm just saying, for example of, is that imposing or not? It's a guide. Just like yoga is a guide to look inward.
Yeah.
Right?
I think if you have a spiritual teacher or a guru, or whatever you want to call them.
Is that imposing in any way?
No.
Because I don't think it is. I think it's more of a guide.
You're never going to get told what to do.
Yeah. Answer your own questions is always, that's why...
Go within. How about you go within? How about you go within? How about you go within? And because, and so, but any agendas that, let me say it again, any agendas that talk about going within are not forced or imposed.
Because once you go within, you're not being told what to do.
I think that's hilarious.
You know, right?
I think that,
I don't know what I'm grabbing at here. No, there's something there.
Yeah.
But
I think, but other than that was it. That was kind of, I wanted to, 3 days of just kind of like mulling it over, and I knew it was going to kind of wrap everything up.
And again, Chris started we started doing this because Chris is like, there's questions I have.
Yeah,
let's discuss. This is what Chris and I actually discuss if there wasn't a camera, which is pretty cool. But we probably talk about it a little bit longer on camera because more thoughts come in our head.
We've had understandings live on camera. This is our 42nd video, and it's
all
kind
to
of neat.
Understand these concepts and these ideas and these thoughts and feelings.
I'm kind of sad. Is this our last video?
Yeah, no way.
No, but I have a funny feeling. I have a funny feeling that this one is important because it did tie all 41 together.
And I think it's just a great topic. Yeah. I thought it was a great thing to think about and discuss because of what's going on.
I'll miss you guys.
Stop. Because of what's going on in the world right now, I just think it's perfect.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Okay, anything else? All right, well, I think that's it, but thanks as always. I saw some comments, so we'll check up on those, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And
well, see you later.
See you later.